Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I have a new script that I'd like to show you. It's a script written by Mike Cranfield in collaboration with myself called Image Blend. Now, Image Blend, as the name says, allows you to blend two images together in some really great ways. There are some other scripts in PixInsight that allow you to do a similar kind of job, but this one has a different approach, and it's one that adds extra ease of use as well as flexibility. And so I'm going to be showing you how to use the script today, as well as reveal a few secrets that I normally keep hidden at atomblockstudios.com. So just a few secrets, though if you want to see all of them. In fact, this script, I believe, is actually a new gateway that will allow both legacy techniques that haven't been used for many years to now become available in PixInsight, as well as techniques that have yet to be described. But they will be, and they are certainly described and demonstrated on my site at Atom Block Studios. So become a member there if you like the material that you're seeing here. And with that, let me just show you how the script works and all of the cool features that you can take advantage of. I'm very excited to show you a new script that is available in PixInsight. It's called the Image Blend script. Like the name says, this allows you to blend two images together. There are other scripts in PixInsight which perform a similar kind of operation. But this script has a slightly different approach, one that I think adds flexibility and ease of use, gives you the very best possible results. This script was written by Mike Cranfield. Mike and I worked together to develop what you see here, and I'd like to show you a couple of examples of how to make it work. Recently, I've been working with Comet data. Let me just show you the images. It'll help to understand how to utilize the script. Here we have a star field. This is the Comet subtracted version of the data, so we just have stars. And then I have the starless version of just the Comet-only image data. Let me go back in time to show you what it looks like when this image is in its linear form. The final forms that I just showed are stretched images. So here in its linear form, you can see the streaking because of the residuals of stars and their halos, the residual streaked pattern of a fixed pattern noise that's in the data. That's very common, and it is the element of the Comet data that we need to minimize when we blend these two images together. And that's what makes this blending tool so great, is that this data is a little different than what is normal because we have sky values, we have background values in both images. This is different than when you have a stars-only image and you're adding the stars into perhaps a nebula where you had extracted them. The stars-only image in that case has no background, it has zeros. That's not true here. And what we can do is change the degree that one background or the other background in either one of these images is going to show in the blended result. That's what makes this so powerful. Now I'm going to go forward in time here and show you this is the stretched version of the data, and you can see in the stretched version, you can still see the streaking, right? So what I did is I smoothed the streaking by applying a mask to the comet, and the comet has not been affected, but everywhere else it's been smoothed out quite a bit. So that's where this data kind of begins. Now I can go into the script and show you how the script works and blend it together. So we'll go back into Image Blend here. And I'm going to select the two images. So we have a section here for the base image, and it has controls. These controls are the same kind of controls you find in histogram transformation, where you adjust the highlights, the black point, the white point, and the midtone values. The same is true down here in this section where we have our blend image, the other image that we need to load. It has exactly the same parameters and controls as far as the histogram here and the fine adjustment. Now the blend image also has an opacity slider, which I'll demonstrate in just a moment. Let's go ahead and load them. Now as far as which one is our blend and our base, in this particular example it doesn't matter. But I'm going to make the star field my base image. So here's the star field image. And then I will make the blend image the Comet image, Comet RGB. And what we see on the screen, and this is the important thing to understand, is we're looking at the blended result of these two base and blend images. Well, why are we only seeing the Comet? It's because our blend method, which is the last section down here at the bottom, is set to be replace. Replace is the simplest kind of blend where we replace the base image with the blend image. And if we do that at 100% opacity, then we're going to just see the Comet. But we can adjust the opacity here, and then we're going to see the base image kind of showing through a little bit of the blend image. Now I'm going to reset this because that is not the kind of blending that we want to do. Another element of this preview area that should be appreciated is that we can control the screen stretch functionality of what we're looking at. Currently, as I mentioned before, we're looking at already permanently stretched images. So there is no screen stretch being applied. We don't want one. If we did, this image is going to look very, very ugly. But if you're using linear images, if you're looking at a linear image, in terms of being able to make visible what you're working on, you will need to apply some kind of screen stretch. So like many of the other scripts that Mike has created, it has a similar method of adjusting the screen transfer function where you assign a target background and then you can make the image as bright as necessary to see what's going on. I will toggle it on, but you won't be impressed because my permanently stretched image is going to show you how I have blurred the background with MMT, but protected the Comet. Otherwise, it's not being blurred at all because I didn't want to just, blur it by too much. And then you can also do an unlinked STF, still an STF. That's not going to affect my image by very much. So I'm going to try, I don't want to look at that anymore, so I'm going to turn that off. Here, then, is my blended, it is my permanently stretched version of the Comet image. Now let's go ahead and blend. Well, there are many blend modes down here that we can take advantage of. And if I show you the list, you will probably find them very familiar. If you have used other very famous photo editing software, this list is going to look extremely familiar to you, which shows things like darken and lighten. We have the screen blending mode, of course. We have overlay. We have soft light. All of the various different ways that we can blend images together are available to us here. But what sets this apart from other methods of blending images in PixInsight are these controls that we get to use. Let me show you then with the actual method that we want, which is the screen blending mode here. I'm now blending these two images together. This is the blended result using screen. And what I can do is I can now brighten, let's say, the Comet image. And if I do so, that'd be great if I can make the Comet, appear brighter. But it's also going to make the background brighter in the Comet data. And so when we screen these two together, we can see in the blended result how that background is showing up. So what we're going to ultimately do is choose some level of brightness that we want the Comet to appear as. And then if I can still see the artifact, what I can do is raise the black level of the Comet-only image that's being blended, because I'm not going to touch the star field in this case. And if I let me just show you, if I raise it enough, the tail is just going to disappear. And if I continue to raise the black level, I'll just be black clipping the Comet, basically, which is not what we want to do. So you want to find the right black level that does not show us the background, but shows us the tail and everything else that we want to see to the best of our abilities, that we want to see of the Comet. Now, sliding this might be too coarse an adjustment. So if we have our black point set here with the fine adjustment through its sensitivity, high sensitivity, we can then make adjustments here at a very, very fine level. Probably don't need to be that fine quite yet. So maybe I move it down here. Now I can see the tail, but I don't see any of the artifact. So maybe I continue to brighten, that is to lower my black point a little bit until I reach the point that I'm happy. If I lower it too much, once again, I'll start to see the artifact starting to show through. So I'm going to stop at some point and say, That's the final result. That's how you use this tool. You can modify one of the other images in real time. Now, it's not a permanent adjustment here until we actually say to output the image and we create a new blended result. There is only one other area that I haven't mentioned, and that is there is another mathematical filtering effect that we can have with images. This is important for certain kinds of operations that you might want to do, and I'll demonstrate one particularly clever example in just a moment. Another nice feature of the script is that if we exit the script and then we re-enter it, all of our values, everything will be remembered. And that allows you actually to do other kinds of small adjustments if you create an image and then you can make another adjustment. Let's see what it is to output the image here. So we do have checked to create a new image. We'll go ahead then and do it by running the script. And now on the desktop I have Image Blend, where I have my Comet. This is Comet Lemon, by the way. My finally blended result. You can see there's still some artifacts here at the edges, but overall, it's a fairly reasonable blended result. Before we leave the topic of comets, let me just mention that, of course, comets sometimes are not moving very fast. So instead of streaks, you have glows, where stars and other elements have been removed. You need to minimize those glows in order to come up with an image like this. And this is the one that you're going to blend with the star field data. What I was alluding at earlier is that there is a simple route that sometimes people take when processing their comet images. It is that they remove the stars, perhaps from an integrated image, and then they blend those stars in with this comet-only image. But there's a problem with doing that. The problem is you don't get the background. And that's why it's important. That's why this blending operation that I'm showing you works so well with this kind of data. If you had a galaxy in the image or nebulosity, it wouldn't come with the removed stars. So combining just the stars-only image doesn't do the job. And I've become a bit of a specialist now for comet processing. If you would like to learn more about the very best ways to process comet data, please visit my site. This information is located in my Horizons collection of videos. At the end of the day, when I put these two together, it resulted in an image like this. Now, it's a small telescope, so the galaxy in the background is very small, but I couldn't have done the job had I not used Image Blend to put the two together in the way that I just demonstrated. I'm real excited to show you this next example of how Image Blend can just be so powerful. This is data that I took years ago, back in 2018. If I were to do it again today, boy, with all the tools that are now available, I could do a much better job. However, with Image Blend, I can demonstrate just a quick and easy improvement to this particular image that I think demonstrates really well the power of both bringing legacy techniques that just haven't been seen for 20 years, as well as new techniques that haven't been seen yet. Let me show you what Image Blend can do. If we go to Utilities, go to Image Blend, bring it up, one of the themes of Image Blend not only is it to take two completely different images and put them together, but also you can take the same image and operate on it with a different blending mode and in different ways. Let me show you what I mean. Here's the example of this galaxy, NGC 2997. So I'm going to go to the image, which is, RGB? This one. And I'm going to load it in both places, like this. Now, in working with Mike Cranfield, one of the desires that I always had was a particular technique that was very popular 20 years ago. It's different than any that are available in PixInsight. And I always wanted to see it somehow used again within the realm of PixInsight, and now it can be. It's the use of what's called the HighPass Filter. So under Filter Options here, you can see that there is this new selection here for HighPass. And the way it works is that it's going to create a version of this image that captures a particular spatial scale. The way it really works is this HighPass filter actually creates like a Gaussian blur, subtracts it from the original image, and then this is what we're looking at here, kind of the residuals of those differences between the image, between the blurred and the original, at a particular scale produces this kind of weird looking image, actually. And the way you use it is you want to find a particular radius that captures the information that you want to enhance. So if I wanted to make perhaps the dust lanes and some of the brighter regions of this galaxy stand out, I find a filter radius that captures that information here in the high pass result. And that's what we're looking at here. But this image in and of itself is not terribly useful. What we want to do is blend it with the original. Remember, the original image is still the galaxy, right? So we want to blend it with the original image with a particular blending mode. And the blending mode, and this again was used years ago, is overlay. So now let me show you the difference between the original. I'm going to use the control key this time. You can do a control click, and that will turn on and off the preview. Here's before, and here's after. It's a contrast enhancement type of operation. Now, at this level, there are a couple of things that I will note. One is that you will see that there is an enhancement around the stars. The stars themselves become brighter and also a bit harsher around the edges. So I won't take time to do this now, but you can imagine removing the stars before you make an enhancement like this that will avoid all kinds of star problems. I'm going to tell you another secret, and these are the things that are available on my website at atomblockstudios.com. Anytime you make an enhancement where it's a contrast enhancement, two things are going on. This particular kind of contrast enhancement will make certain elements of the image brighter than they originally were, and also certain elements of the image darker than they originally were. Let me just zoom out here and show you the original image as it appeared before I had zoomed in. And if we do a before and after, you can see when we're not zoomed in at, 300% or something like that, that we are really making a very dramatic contrast adjustment here. But there are tools, for example in PixInsight, that look to darken particular kinds of structures. And that's a typical desire in an object like this, where maybe we just want the dust lanes to stand out, but we don't want to brighten the other elements of the galaxy up very much more. So what can we do? Well, we can use the secret. The secret is the following. Let's go ahead and create this image, and I'm going to give it an ID of, so we're going to call this overlay full. So this is the full overlay image, if you will, and let's go ahead and hit it's the full enhanced version. Now it's been saved to the desktop. I don't need to exit the script though. Now what I can do is just load it because I've just created it. So I go to overlay full here, and there it is. But here's what I want to show you. We can now take advantage of another blending mode. Here's by the way, here it is before, I should say. And let's turn off the high pass. We don't need to do a high pass now. So this is what the image looks like in terms of the enhancement. Here is the original image here. Here's the enhancement. But what if we didn't want elements of this image to become brighter? We only wanted to take advantage of the overlay enhancement for the darkening aspects. We can do that now. Again, I've loaded the full overlay result. This is the newly enhanced image. And then I have my original image. But we can choose to use the blending mode of darken. And check this out. Now we're not affecting anything like stars or other elements of the galaxy. We're only making those elements that in that higher contrast result became darker. So let's do the before and after here. And you can see that now we're bringing out the dust lanes in the galaxy without the detriment of over-brightening anything else in the image. So let's just go ahead and save this one as overlay darker, like this. And I can do a similar kind of operation by doing lighten. These are the elements that were brightened due to the overlay technique. So I will call this lighter, like this. And then you can imagine doing the following. You could load, for example, the darker image here, the lighter image here, and then what we can do is create a final image that might be on the order of 25% from lighten, and the other 70% showing through as the base image in this case, which is the darker view. And this I can output as my final enhanced image. I'll exit out of here. Now I have generated some intermediate things just for purposes of, well, I'll just move them out of the way, just for purposes of showing you. But what I want to do now is look at the original and then look at the final, and you can see the adjustment that was made. So I will do this and this. Let's zoom in a little bit. Go like this. Put one over the other and then blink the two images. And that's the modest enhancement that I made using Image Blend, and if I didn't actually explain anything, it's something that can be done in seconds. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the new power of the Image Blend utility, of the Image Blend script. It has a wealth of opportunities. I'm only demonstrating a few of at least 20 different kinds of operations that you can perform using this script. And I will be demonstrating all of these new possibilities at atomblockstudios.com. So I encourage you to become a member and learn more about new possibilities in processing now through this gateway of image blending within PixInsight. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I think you can see just how powerful a script like this can be. In fact, I'm considering making a course in PixInsight now that the script is available just on image blending alone. So look for something like that in the future, and until then, clear skies.